Hey, welcome back. It's a new week, so that means a new anime streaming showcase. The show where we take a look at various streaming services like Crunchyroll, Hulu, Netflix, and decide what is a streamable show, what is a show that you should maybe avoid. And this week we're going to jump right into a trapped in a video game escapade known as Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash. It seems every year we're always treated to several trapped in a fantasy or video game world anime series, and they're always popular or successful enough to keep the genre afloat for that year. Recent years, we saw series like Sword Art Online or Overlord make their biggest splashes, but 2016, specifically winter 2016, featured a series that topped the genre for me personally, Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash. Taking the already bloated genre's ideas and applying a pleasant sense of urgency and reality to the characters' worlds and motives also made this feel like a Dark Souls of the genre. At this point, that might be quite trite to even say about Grimgar, but that was my entire mindset while watching it. Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash follows a group of people who awaken in a world of fantasy, retaining nothing from their pasts, and must endure everything thrust their way and survive. The proverbial black veil placed over the character's eyes, deepening the ferocity of the unknown world, adds a layer rarely seen in these kinds of shows. Our main player is Haruhito, who walks the line of apathetic but concerned, and naturally grows over the course of the series. And his growth feels genuine, along with the other players in his group. The group dynamic flows very well and offers a number of welcome moments from each. The team slowly embraces their new roles and their world, and they find themselves taking up quests and battles in order to survive and provide currency for the required foods and lodgings and basically survival. Small touches of what's deemed important and their handling of these matters in Grimgar help it stand out from the rest. Sword Art Online was all about brooding protagonists who were solely out to survive and escape their world. But the hero was almost so overpowered in fights and battles that he rarely lacked any danger. That's not the entirety of SAO, and that's not entirely fair to the genre, but Grimgar casts the light of danger and earnestness on the team that they have to endure the entire series. Their new roles are still foreign to them, so they must learn and grow and evolve and power up to even stand a chance at just low-level enemies. It's a slow-paced show, but Grimgar likes showcasing many montages with insert songs to showcase the team's growths and cut through what essentially could be fluff moments. Grimgar's pacing benefits from the staff at A1 Pictures, who funnily enough also handled Sword Art Online's adaptation. They've seemingly learned how to handle two different products of similar ideas spectacularly. Haruhito's growth is specifically worth note given his predominantly aforementioned apathetic nature at the start of the series. As events unfold and his trust in the team grows, he becomes more and more comfortable opening up and becoming attached to these strangers he's surviving with. Without spoiling too much, the series will quickly remind you of the danger and the severity of taking its world for granted. Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash will constantly showcase the strength of its world and the consequence of second thinking what it contains and overthinking of yourself. Tragedy and loss can be around every corner, and Grimgar has such a fantastic job of presenting both without heavy melodrama or being too cliche. Each character knows their limits, and even if there's a cocky, hot-headed member, they're so reminded it can all end in an instant. They're not overpowered masters of their classes filled with infinite HP and NP in order to fight non-stop. They have to rest, they have to recover, same as any ordinary human. Battles are genuinely meticulous, and they require strategy and wit, and Haruhito's team soon learns that cockiness and running into battles is instant death. It's a death sentence, as well as ensuring every member's safe by the end. It's an invigorating take on the genre, which has spoiled me for any series like this going forward. I won't try to hold this expectation so high, but it's going to be a very high bar for anything to surpass. Additionally, Grimgar is a very pretty anime majority of the time. Backgrounds and landscapes are almost a watercolor, gorgeous presentation. The characters just seem to float on at times. Despite how jarring that might sound though, in motion it really works. Naturally, with any series there are plenty of ugly or cost-affecting shots created to save the budget, but in this series where fighting is often limited to a few scenes, I expected a lot of expository shots and scanning views as characters move the plot along. Combat shots are beautifully animated and presented and are absolute joy to see, perhaps due to their relatively rare occurrence in the series. A1 Pictures have been able to do something special in their hands, creating Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash, and I really do hope we get a second season and return to its world sooner rather than later. Unfortunately, it is only at one season at 12 episodes right now, but if you do end up checking out Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash and would like more, it is based off the light novel series, much like most of these Trapped in a Video Game series are. Thankfully, other anime nerds out there have made it understood that Grimgar's first series is approximately about the first two light novels, so there is a chance for more anime content. But if you do want more, the light novels are being translated and brought stateside, and if you're a little bit more of the eye patch folk, you can probably find the others online. If you do wish to watch Grimgar, it is available on Hulu, it is available on Crunchyroll, and Funimation have the dubbing and US release rights. I have not had a chance to check out the dubbing. I do very much want to go back and explore Grimgar with a English dubbing, but I can't comment right now how it is. But I'm sure if it's Funimation, it's going to be a competent cast thrown in there. Grimgar won't necessarily scratch that Sword Art Online itch that you may have, but it's a solid show that explores some of the finer points other shows in this genre failed to delve into. I'd go so far to say that Grimgar was a relatively underloved show back when it aired. It's almost faded away into the ether after such a short time. But I highly recommend it as a streamable show, and I think you could spend a good weekend with it and enjoy it. Alright guys, thanks again for checking out a brand new episode of Anime Streaming Showcase. As always, I want to thank the super awesome crew over at Laser Time for giving me the outlet to do this. I truly do enjoy it. Don't forget to comment and leave maybe any suggestions of series you'd like me to spend some time with and develop an opinion on, or help maybe share an underloved series that you enjoy. I do still have a couple that I've got lined up that I'm going to be rolling out the next couple of weeks as well, but that well's going to run dry, and I'd like to have some stuff backed up to help me help keep me regular on this. So as always, thanks for tuning in. I will see you guys next week for an anime streaming showcase.